Good morning, everyone. Today I'm really happy so many new classmates participate our lecture, Chinese class. Welcome. And also we have a new lecturer, Mateti. Several years ago, when he the first time he visits our temple in China, he can't say even one Chinese word, but now he speaks Chinese very well, huh? And I heard also you are his English teacher before, right? Now he teaches you Chinese language. It's a very good experience. And today I'm going to introduce Zheng He's voyage. Are there anybody know Zheng He? Who is Zheng He? Are there anybody know this Chinese minister? It seems majority people don't know him in Sri Lanka. Yes. So I'd like to introduce his story to all of you. Zheng He was a very important minister in China's early Ming Dynasty, 600 years ago. A massive cultural contact between China and Sri Lanka was widely recognized that start from Zheng He's voyage to the west in Ming Dynasty of China. It is widely recognized in the world that the great age of Western navigation began in the 15th century, right? But it was actually nearly half a century later than Zheng He's voyage. 1405, Ming Cheng Emperor, the king of China, commanded Zheng He to lead more than 240 of huge ships and 27,400 sailors to visit more than 30 centuries and regions in the Western Pacific and Indian Oceans. The farthest places they have arrived was East Africa, Red Sea, depending the friendly region between China and Southeast Asia, East Africa. Zheng He sailed from Liujiagang in Suzhou every time until 1433. He made a total 8 voyages, but his last voyage, when he returned to Guri in April, Guri belong to India. When he arrived Guri in April, the 8th year of Xuande, he died of illness aboard the ship, and thus made 7 full voyages. Zheng He's voyages are direct reference of the prosperity of the Ming Dynasty. Zheng He's voyages far exceeded those Western navigators such as Magellan and Gama and Columbus. Nearly a century later, he is regarded as the pioneer of the great age of navigation and the only oriental. Zheng He visited Sri Lanka how many times, do you know? 5 times. 600 years ago, Zheng He led his ship fleet to visit Sri Lanka 5 times. On his second visit, he arrived in Gama and set up an important stone tablet, the Zheng He's tablet. You see, this tablet is Zheng He's tablet. Now this tablet is in Sri Lanka National Museum in Colombo. This tablet is inscribed in Chinese, ancient Arabic, and Tamil, which now houses in Sri Lanka National Museum in Colombo. Chinese inscription describe how Zheng He offered the temples, and Tamil inscription follow the same pattern. The present inscription, those damaged, clearly lists the holy seats of Islam at the top. Zheng He's bridge was a peaceful one, but its initial arrival in Sri Lanka was not smooth. According to the Ming history, the king of Koti Kingdom of Sri Lanka, Villa King. Who know Villa King? 600 years ago, the Villa Kingdom, the king, the name is Villa Alakasvilla.
Liujiagang.
Yeah, you know him?
Liujiagang.
Was not friendly to Zheng He's voyages, and there was a conflict. Although he is the Sinhalese king, he is not a Buddhist, right? He is not a Buddhist, and he is not an intelligent monarch. So he's not very popular with the locals, right? Not so popular with the locals. He was later replaced by the Bahu VI. Yes, who became one of the Sri Lanka's most illustrious emperors. China is a typical agricultural civilization. The development of agriculture needs a stable and peaceful surrounding. So Chinese Confucius culture pay attention to the social stability and unity. After Buddhism was introduced to China in the Han Dynasty, China was under the influence of Buddhist thought. Chinese culture tended to persist, influenced by the thought of the Confucius, Buddhism, and Taoism. China don't need to plunder other countries. Therefore, Zheng He's fleet was a messenger of peace. His purpose of going so far away was not to colonize or plunder resources, but to establish mutually beneficial international friendship. In a country where Zheng He had voyages, most of the country received a gift from Zheng He on behalf of the Chinese government, Ming government. Even when they visited Sri Lanka first time, Villa King misunderstood and were hostile to them. There was no military occupation and colonial rule in Sri Lanka, right? At that time, his shoulder is so huge too. 27,400 is so many soldiers, but no military occupation in Sri Lanka. China still welcomed their new king and keep good relationship with them. This is fundamentally different from the Western sailing, because pacifism is one of the genes of Chinese culture. Sri Lanka is an agricultural country with the same influence of Buddhism as China. And the traditional medicine of Lanka Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine also share a very similar philosophy. For this reason, the culture of Sri Lanka and China is more harmonious and more easily interacted. So all about is the introduction about Zheng He's voice. He visited Sri Lanka 5 times 600 years ago. After his voyages, nearly 100 years, the Westerner come to Sri Lanka, and they do to Sri Lanka is very different. At that time, one of the priests traveled to China with Zheng He, and his generation now still in Fujian province. A lady, more than 10 years ago, the lady came back to Sri Lanka, and the Sri Lanka president set a huge ceremony for him and call her the princess.